Alright, welcome back to another games that impressed me this week. There's no disappointments this week. All the games that I played in the last couple of weeks only really impressed me, and given more playtime in some of them, they only impressed me more and more and more, and, you know, kind of avoided disappointing me, I suppose. I missed last week because I just didn't play as many unique games as I thought I would. I said that could happen in the first episode, so, you know, it did. But hopefully I can continue playing more and more games each week and get these out every week. But either way, let's get into it. Alright, so the first game that I had fun with this week was Bloons TD6. Honestly, a staple game in anyone's library. I'm surprised it took me this long to properly put some time into it. By now, you should know how a Bloons game transpires, and Bloons TD6 has remained the king of tower defense games for years. It gets pretty consistent updates from what I can tell, and it's filled to the brim with game modes and challenges to complete. It's great solo, it's super chill and a fun game to grind out in the background when you're doing something else, but I'm not sure about the co-op experience. I've had fun with it so far, but the way the money works in co-op means that you all essentially have to play the roles that one player would play. So one guy gets the banana farms going, one guy gets the damage going, etc, which means you can't really play how you want all the time, and I'm just not a fan of how it works there. But apart from that, there isn't much else to say about the mechanics of the game and how it feels and all that. You should all know how it feels to mow down balloons in a Bloons game, and this is the best one we have right now. Alright, next up we have Peglin, and Peglin is a pachinko roguelite. Okay, so basically you throw a ball that bounces around a bunch of pins, and the amount of pegs the ball hits is how much damage you'll do to the incoming enemies. Except, of course, it's deeper than that. Peglin is also a deck builder, so you're building your deck full of rocks and balls to throw at the pegs, and just like any other deck builder, you want your deck to be focused and useful instead of cluttered and useless. It's a very interesting concept for a roguelike, definitely one of the most unique that I've seen, and to be honest, it works to great effect here. Throwing the balls and watching them bounce is super satisfying, and the sound the balls make when they bounce is even better. I haven't played too much of this game, but so far it's not the easiest. I can get past the first stage, but then there's a skill gap somewhere that I'm missing, and I gotta figure it out. But yeah, Peglin's probably one of the only games out there that utilizes pachinko and deck builders to this effect, so if the concept sounds interesting to you, just know that the game backs the concept up with fun gameplay. This week, I had a lot of fun with Muck. Muck came out a while ago, and it's made by the same guy who made Crab Game, so based on that and the gameplay that's being shown, you can probably tell what kind of game this is. This isn't some super in-depth game, it's not a game you'll grind out for hours on end, but it is a fun game to go back to with friends just to fuck around with and see if you can defeat it. It's a roguelike survival game where to win you'll need to mine, build, and craft better gear to help you fix up a boat that's somewhere on the coast, then you'll use that boat to escape, and then once you're on the boat, you'll have to defeat a dragon that attacks you, and then you'll win. The whole game might take an hour to an hour and a half to beat if you go through everything. It's got surprisingly satisfying combat and mechanics and fun progression to boot. It's just all around a great time every now and then with mates, and it's free, so there's no reason not to try it and have a bit of fun. So, as we speak, I'm trying to get the 100% in Dredge, one of the most solid, quality indie games I've played in a long time. I made a first impressions video on it, and I gave it very high praise, and one of my worries for the game was what the end game would look like. Well, I finished the story in about 7.5 hours, and the end game is where you'll go for your 100%, which I am a big fan of, because there's enough content and things to do to make that journey really, really enjoyable. As far as I'm aware, there aren't any missable achievements either. In fact, the whole game seems super optimized for a fun 100% run, which I really, really appreciate. All the praise I gave it in my first impressions video has held up throughout my playtime, which is incredibly, incredibly good. So that means that the end game that previously I thought might have been a worry for me definitely is not a worry. In fact, it's one of the most fun parts of the game. But again, everything I said held up. Dredge has been phenomenal so far, and I can't wait to go back and actually complete the 100%. I still highly, highly, highly recommend Dredge. So a game that almost disappointed me this week was Rogue Genesia. It's a survivor roguelike that at first I really wasn't impressed with, and maybe with any less game time it would have disappointed me, but after I played it properly for a lot longer, it actually surprised me with how much replayability and depth exists for a game that's so early into early access. It definitely isn't near some of the top dogs in this genre yet, but I think it's got the foundations to get there. Unfortunately for me, this game falls short in some of the most important areas in this little subgenre of survivor games, like sound design, movement, feel of combat, etc. But at the same time, it shines in the areas I mentioned previously: replayability, depth, choice, variety. So all in all, keep this one on your watch list if you're a fan of Vampire Survivors, because I have a feeling this one will do very well once more updates come out that hopefully address some of the issues that I've stated here. 5 years ago, on April 1st, 2018, Noisestorm released the crazy popular track Crab Rave. Now, I've been a fan of Noisestorm since I was young and listening to OG Monster Cat, so when he announced a shooter crab game, well, I don't really know what I thought, but years later, it's finally been released and it's actually pretty good. I'll be honest, when he first announced it, I thought it would end up being more of a meme game that you kind of play for 15 minutes and then drop it, but that's absolutely not the case here. This is a full-fledged early access game with a huge roadmap of content and a solid core gameplay loop. The combat and shooting feel great. Movement is a bit 50-50 for me. It feels like your movement is too heavily influenced by your mouse, but that's just something I'll have to get used to, and the more I play it, the more I do get used to it. It's got a solid soundtrack too, as you would expect from someone like Noisestorm. It's got good in-run progression, and the more I played it, the more variety I seem to find. A good variety of weapons to unlock and use as well, so honestly, it's a really solid early access pickup. Even though on first glance it might look like a bit more of a meme game, it's definitely not the case. This is a solid game. So as I said at the start, no games disappointed me this week, but I wanted to give a quick couple shoutouts and updates, I suppose. I've been playing a lot of TFT. I didn't put it on this list because I feel like games like CS and TFT and other competitive games don't really belong on this list. It's not really in the spirit of what I'm trying to do with these videos, but I have been playing a lot of it, so I thought it would be worth it to mention it. There's a big Soulstone Survivors update incoming, so if you're a fan of Vampire Survivors, Soulstone Survivors is another game in that genre. It's one of the most solid in my opinion, and they have a big update planned that should boost the replayability of that game a ton, so keep an eye out for that. Tiny Rogues is another game that I want to play a lot more of, but unfortunately when I was playing it before there just wasn't enough content, but that update is coming very soon from what I can tell, so if you're into roguelikes, maybe check this one out and then get ready for that update, which should be coming soon. And then just something funny that my brother and I realized about a week ago was in September last year, the Borderlands 2 10-year anniversary passed, and we didn't get any news of a Borderlands 2 remaster or anything like that, which I think sucks. And as soon as I realized it, I was like, damn it. Like, I think Borderlands 2 with Borderlands 3 mechanics and a graphical overhaul would be absolutely sick and incredibly welcome. But unfortunately, we didn't get anything on the 10-year anniversary. So maybe on the 11th anniversary, we'll get something. But until then, thank you so much for watching. Follow me on Twitch, on Twitter, subscribe, and have a great day.